Hi, my name is Aya. You're watching Aya Read, and I'm here to do a video where my Spotify Wrapped of 2024 recommends you books. So I did a similar video not too long ago, but honestly, it wasn't one of my favorite videos I filmed in a while. So I thought I'd use this opportunity to film a similar video again. I'll leave that first video linked for you. It's basically me going through some of my favorite songs and having Spotify on shuffle, picking them, and then me having to recommend a book. For Spotify Wrapped, obviously, I believe it's 100 songs that I listened to over and over and over again this year, and using those to recommend you books. I'm gonna for sure recommend you books for the top 5, which obviously I've already seen my Spotify Wrapped, and one of the top 5, I had already recommended you a book in the last video, so I'm gonna skip that one, but all the other ones I will recommend you a book. And then after that, I'm gonna go to my Spotify Wrapped playlist and put that on shuffle and recommend you between 10 or 15 other books. Really depends on my mood. So let's do a screen recording and let's go to my actual Wrapped, my 2024 Wrapped, and let's see how much of that I will show you. Okay, so 37,415 minutes of listening time. Okay, so April 11th, 529 minutes is over 8 hours. I was in London. I was traveling to London by myself and reading during it. So that's why that number is so high on that day. One song again and again and again. I do know what that is. It's Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter. Yep, I did. During the summer, that was pretty much all I listened to. Yeah. So these 5, so Cruel Summer was in the other video I did, so I'm gonna recommend you books for every single song except for that one. Okay, so this is not that interesting. Yeah. One, of course, had a special place in my heart. Obviously, it is Taylor Swift. Nobody's surprised. Once again, not surprised by this top 5. Let's go to the top songs. Okay, so let's do Espresso first, obviously, considering that is the top song I listened to this year. And okay, so for the top 5, I have already picked out books, and the other ones are gonna be a surprise. So let me read you the lyrics. Now he's thinking about me every night, oh, isn't that sweet? I guess so. Say you can't sleep, baby, I know, that's that me espresso. I can't relate to desperation, my give a fucks are on vacation, and I got this one boy and he won't stop calling. When they act this way, I know I got him. Too bad your ex don't do it for you. Walked in and dream came true did for you. Soft skin and I perfumed it for you. So basically, especially the lines of say you can't sleep, baby, I know, that's that me espresso. I'm gonna recommend a book I recently finished, and it's Garum Park by Nordica Knight. So this is a romance, and you follow Maddox and Devon, and basically this is a hate to love. So they hate each other. They're also rivals with motocross, and then one night Devon's father almost kills him, and he comes to Maddox's place because he's looking for his brother, because their brothers are actually best friends, and his brother is not there, so Maddox actually takes care of him, and then that leads into them hate fucking, but eventually it's become their romance. And while they are in that phase of still trying to hate each other, but also wanting to have sex, they cannot sleep because they constantly keep thinking about each other. And also it makes them have realizations of why they were so obsessed with each other all their lives. It's because there was always something there. And basically they have not been able to sleep because the other ones, they're espresso, basically their entire lives. So I think it's fitting. Moving on to Fortnight. And no one's here to blame, but what about your quiet treason? And for a fortnight, there we were forever. Run into you sometimes, ask about the weather. Now you're in my backyard, turned into good neighbors. Your wife waters flowers, I want to kill her. I took the miracle move-on drug, the effects were temporary. And I love you, it's ruining my life. I touched you for only a fortnight. Thought of calling you, but you won't pick up. Another fortnight lost in America. Okay, so I'm gonna recommend Dark Sky by Cressley Cole. So this technically is the 14th book in the Immortals After Dark series. Technically you should read the other ones, but if you don't want to do that, then for sure read Kiss of a Demon King before reading this one. Basically, you follow Thronos and Lanthe, and they used to be best friends as children. He is a member of this like angelic species that are very much chaste, I guess, and she is a sorceress and they are more free-spirited. And as children, he accidentally betrayed her. So that is where I'm getting the quiet treason from. Because of that mistake he made, her parents end up dying. And then she, because her power is whenever she tells somebody to do that, they have to do it. So she compels him to jump off of a very tall building and not use his wings. And since he was very young when that happened, he didn't have the ability to regenerate and to heal from those injuries. So he's been living with those injuries his entire life. He's been in pain for his entire life. But he also knows Lanthe is his fated mate. So he's been traveling the world, following her around, and she constantly is running from him. Understandably so, because she thinks he's gonna murder her. And basically, I'm reading this mostly from his point of view, that he loves her and is ruining his life. And I love this book. I think it's one of my favorites in the Immortals After Dark. The next one is The Smallest Man Who Ever Lived, which this bridge is iconic. Was any of it true? Gazing at me starry-eyed. Who the fuck was that guy? And I don't even want you back. I just want to know if rusting my sparkling summer was the goal, and I don't miss what we had. But could someone give a message to the smallest man who ever lived? You hung me on your wall, stabbed me with your pushpins. In public showed me off, then sank in stoned oblivion. 'Cause once your queen had come, you treat her like an also-ran. You didn't measure up in any measure of a man. Okay, and the bridge is one of the best bridges ever built. Let me read it to you. Were you sent by someone who wanted me dead? Did you sleep with a gun underneath our bed? Were you writing a book? Were you a sleeper cell spy? In 50 years, will all this be declassified? And you'll confess why you did it, and I'll say good riddance. Because it wasn't sexy once it wasn't forbidden. I would have died for your sins. Instead, I just died inside. And you deserve prison, but you won't get time. You'll slide into inboxes and slip through the bars. You crashed my party and your rental car. You said normal girls were boring, but you were gone by the morning. You kicked out the stage lights, but you're still performing. And in plain sight you hid. And you are what you did. And I'll forget you, but I'll never forgive the smallest man who ever lived. Can I really recommend anything other than A Court of Thorns and Roses? Obviously, I'm talking about Tamlin. He 100% is the smallest man who ever lived. I don't want to talk a whole lot about it in case you, for some reason, have not read it yet. He is the smallest man who ever lived in any measure of a man. I'm pretty sure Reese's dick is bigger, and if I like... that doesn't even matter. Obviously, especially during A Court of Mist and Fury, Feyre definitely realizes that Tamlin definitely is the smallest man who ever lived, and the things this man does... Like, yes, a part of me feels sorry for him, but he's also the smallest man who ever lived. Like, I cannot deny that. I like that one scene with all the high fae and him asking Rhys, like, about their sex life is just... Like, I still have secondhand embarrassment just thinking about that scene. Okay, so the fifth one, I'm actually surprised this is in 5th place. Because apart from Peter, which isn't even in the top 5... This is my favorite in the album. And in my opinion, this should have been track 5. But I mean, who am I to decide that? So let me read you the lyrics of LOML. Who's gonna stop us from waltzing back into rekindled flames if we know the steps anyway? We embroidered the memories of the time I was away, stitching We Were Just Kids, babe. I felt a glow like this, never before and never since. If you know it in one glimpse, it's legendary. You and I go from one kiss to getting married. You low down boy, you stand up guy, you holy ghost, you told me I'm the love of your life. about 1,000,000 times. A con man sells a fool a get love quick scheme, but I've never felt a hole like this, never before and ever since. What we thought was for all time was momentary. I wish I could unrecall how we almost had it all. Dancing phantoms on the terrace, are they secondhand embarrassed that I can't get out of bed because something counterfeits dead? It was legendary. It was momentary. It was unnecessary. Should have let it stay buried. What a valiant roar. What a bland goodbye. The coward claimed he was a lion. I'm combing through the braids of lies. I'll never leave. Never mind. Our field of dreams engulfed in fire. Your arsons match your somber eyes, and I'll still see it until I die. You're the loss of my life. So I'm gonna recommend The Ex-Hex. So, okay, so basically I'm mainly talking about the time, like before they meet each other again, because I do think they're both each other's loss of their lives. So you follow Vivi and Reese. So that's kind of what I'm talking about. It was legendary. It was momentary. So they had this whirlwind 3-month romance, and she thought that they were gonna end up together. But then she had to comb through the braids of lies because it turns out that he was engaged the whole time. Even though he didn't love his fiancée, that was also something he did not tell her. They broke up, and they were broken up for 9 years. They never really moved on. They were still looking up each other on social media. Actually, right after they broke up, she cursed him. But like I said, she's been social media stalking him, and she realized that her curse probably didn't work. Until he returns 9 years later to Graves Glen, where she's from, and everything that can go wrong is going wrong. Turns out her curse worked, and now they have to find a way to reverse the curse. And also, this is their second chance romance, and I do think it fits. Is it on shuffle already? Yes, it is. So let's do next, and let's see what song comes out. Also, what I forgot to mention is I hid all the songs that were in my 2024 Wrapped that I already recommended books for in the last video. So in case you're wondering. Okay. So I really like this book, or I really like this song. So basically this is a cover for Hey There, Delilah, but it's from Delilah's point of view. So let me see. So obviously this doesn't have the lyrics. So let me read it out to you over here. Okay, so this took me way too long to find a book for this song. So it's not gonna be a one-to-one, but I mainly was looking for a second chance romance where it was kind of the girl's fault why they're not together anymore. So let me read you the lyrics. Hey, it's Delilah. It's so lonely in this city. You're 1,000 miles away telling your new girl she's so pretty, as you should. I miss when what we had was good. Hey, it's Delilah. Getting by's been pretty hard because every time that I see your face, I hear the old guitar you played for me. The songs you wrote, you sang to me, just a memory. 1,000 miles is pretty far, but nothing breaks my soul and heart like watching you forget each part of us. My friends, they all make fun of me because they don't know why I can't see that you moved on and I wasn't in a rush. Hey, it's Delilah. Treat her good and let her know she's the one you'll always run to and she'll never be alone. Guess it's my fault. Losing you is my fucking fault. Please tell me why you never called. I'm broken and I feel so small. I'm in withdrawal. So I'm gonna recommend Resting Witch Face. Technically, like I said, it's not a one-to-one because first of all, they don't live miles apart. They live in the same city. And also he never moved on, but she hasn't either. And really, like the reason they broke up, it was kind of her fault. So you follow Ruben and Jules, and they were together 12 years ago and everything was going fine, but she's a witch, he's a vampire, and she is like the leader of the witches in New Orleans. And she broke it off with him because she felt like, if I'm remembering correctly, she felt like being with him kind of undermined her own power because he was an all-powerful vampire on his own. So they broke it off and he's been pining for her all these years and definitely never moved on. Now they have to travel together for a certain mission they have, and he is determined to win her back, and it's their second chance romance. I really love it. It's part of one of my favorite series of all time. So that was harder. Let's hope the next song is a little bit less difficult. Okay. Het Is Over. Oh, I think I just recommended the song that could have been perfect for this one. So this is a Dutch song. So let me translate it for you. So this is actually a cover, but I prefer this one. The lyrics I'm gonna be looking a book up for is: Het is over en voorbij. Je was alles voor heel even, maar het is over voor jou en mij. Basically, the translation is it's over. Get that? It's the same word. It's over and finished. You were everything for just a little while. But it's over for you and me. So it sounds better in Dutch, but... Okay, so I'm looking for, once again, a second chance romance where, like, the first time they were together, it was only for a little while. Obviously, Ex-Hex would have been perfect for this one, so let me think of another one. Okay, actually, I have a good one. I'm gonna go for In the Likely Event by Rebecca Yarros. So this is a dual timeline story where in the first timeline you watch 7 years of these two people constantly meeting each other, trying to make it work, but it never really working. So they actually meet each other on a plane on the same day that plane crashes. Then like a year later they meet serendipitously at like a place where like they didn't think they would run into each other ever again. And then, like I said, you follow the span of 7 years where they're constantly being pulled back by the universe, I guess, and it never really quite working. There is a brief moment where they do try and make it work, but then, like, he's in the army. At one point, she never heard from him ever again, and she thought he died until she meets him again in Afghanistan. During that time, the Taliban took over, and she now works for a politician. He is assigned as her personal protection. Now she is engaged to be married to somebody else, and they have to face all those years together and see if they maybe can try and work out a second chance. And yes, they were everything to each other, but just for a little while. This was a beautiful book in my opinion, and this is a beautiful song, so I would highly recommend it. Even if you don't understand Dutch, it's beautiful. I especially love their rendition of it. Hopefully now, like, I want to recommend you something other than a second chance romance, so let's see. Okay. Oh yeah, what I wanted to say about my Spotify Wrapped was I rarely listen to like newer songs. Like honestly, the only new songs I listened to this year were Taylor Swift and Sabrina Carpenter, but all the other ones were really old songs. So next year, my goal is to listen to a little bit more newer songs. So She Looks So Perfect by 5 Seconds of Summer. Pretty sure I can find a good book for this one. Okay, so I could either recommend like a book where the hero gets a tattoo for his heroine, or just like a simp. Let me think. Okay, I'm gonna do Wild Love by Elsie Silver. And let's read you the lyrics, okay? You look so perfect standing there in my American Apparel underwear, and I know now that I'm so down. Your lipstick stain is a work of art. I got your name tattooed in an arrowed heart, and I know now that I'm so down. So technically he doesn't have her name tattooed in an arrow heart, but he does have something else that is very much related to her. Like he has a heart locket that is from her diary and he wears it constantly. So it is like similar vibes, okay? So Wild Love is the first book in the Rose Hill series by Elsie Silver. This is a pining hero. And they were friends when they were younger, or technically he was best friends with her brother, but he has been in love with her all this time. And she kind of left this small town and went to the big city. Technically, he wasn't from this small town, but he always felt like this small town was home to him. So now he's a billionaire. And he basically, the reason he's a billionaire is because he had set up this Spotify type thing in this fictional world. And now he wants to set up this recording studio in Rose Hill, and she needs a job and she asks him for one, and of course he cannot deny her, and it's their romance. Also, he gets the surprise of his life when a little girl shows up at his doorstep telling him that he's her father, because when he was 19 he donated his sperm to get $100, and she's basically the product of that, and she needs help because her father died and her mom is not doing so great, and he's willing to help. This is an amazing book. Rosie is perfect. Doesn't matter what she's wearing, she's perfect to him. Next. Okay. Another Dutch song. Okay, so basically this is a dirty, dirty, dirty song. And the only thing they're really saying is she goes up and down and up and down and up and down. Ze wil op en... Oh no, technically she wants to go up and down. So ze wil op en neer. Op en neer, op en neer, op en neer. She wants to go up and down, up and down, up and down. So this is a girl who just wants to go up and down. So let me find you a spicy book for this song. This is also a very fun song. Would highly recommend listening to it. Okay. I have a good one. Okay, let's do Your Dad Will Do by Katie Robert. This book is very spicy. So you follow this girl. So this is an ex's dad story. So you follow this girl whose boyfriend cheated on her. And now she wants to get revenge by going up and down on his dad. So she goes to the father's house, who's a very sexy dad. And she wants to get revenge by fucking him. She's like, okay, what is the best way to get revenge? I know, by going up and down on your dad. Turns out this dad also, like, this is not a good father, in my opinion. So it turns out this dad also found her sexy, even when she was still with the boyfriend. And now they kind of are reenacting scenes that were kind of innocent when she was still with the son, but now they make them dirty. So like them pretending to watch TV while the son is there, and then fucking each other while still watching TV, stuff like that. So it's a very hot book, and she definitely wants to go up and down on the dad. Let's move on. Okay, Cracker Island. I think there was a point in time where I was listening to this song so much. I don't know if I can find a book for this one. Okay, I actually have a good one for this one. Okay, so basically he's talking about a cult on Cracker Island, a forever cult. They taught themselves to be a cult. Okay, what is this song again? Listen, I was listening to this song. I had no idea what they were singing. Okay, so let's do Her Soul to Take by Harley LaRue. I know I recommended the third one in the last Spotify video. But the first one really focuses a lot on the cult, in my opinion. It actually explains the cult. So you follow this girl named Ray, and she's going back to the town she's from. And she befriends this brother and sister. And there's this mysterious guy always hanging around called Leon. And eventually she realizes that the brother and sister are part of this cult in town that is worshiping this god. And the god requires 3 sacrifices from founding families of the town, and the main character is part of one of those founding families. They are getting close to her so they can ultimately sacrifice her in this cult because their dad is the cult leader of the town. And Leon is actually a demon forced to work for the dad, and it's going to be the romance between Ray, the main character, and Leon trying to fight this cult. And it's very good, very spicy, and yeah, definitely romance where there's somewhat of a cult involved. You know, sometimes I have to be a little bit creative here. Let's go next. Vigilante Shit. Okay, a book I recommended the last time would have been perfect for this. So let me think now. Yeah, I think I actually have one. You don't actually get to see her do this vigilante shit, but it is talked about frequently. And I'm gonna recommend yours truly, and let me read you the lyrics, okay? You did some bad things, but I'm the worst of them. They say looks can kill, and I might try. Lately, I've been dressing for revenge. Can you hear that? Somebody is working. Don't get sad, get even. Someone sweet and kind and fun. The lady simply had enough. Okay, somebody is pounding. I get pounding. What's that called? Hammering. Okay, moving on. So yours truly. Basically, I'm talking about what Brianna did to her ex-husband. So that's a bit of a mystery for a big part of the book, where her ex-husband cheated on her with one of her friends, and then she did some things for revenge. But really, this is the romance between Brianna and Jacob, who is the best person in the world. And I really love this book. But yeah, she definitely, once somebody really hurts her, she can definitely get on her vigilante shit and ruin their lives. Next. Long Live by Taylor Swift, of course. Okay, I'm just gonna go for Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. If you, for some reason, have not read this series, if you've only read Court of Thorns and Roses, I would say please read the Throne of Glass series, because that is honestly, as much as I love A Court of Mist and Fury, I think that is definitely my favorite book of all time. The Throne of Glass series is definitely my favorite series of all time. So let me read you the lines. So let's read you the lyrics that I think fit. I said, remember this moment in the back of my mind. The time we stood with our shaking hands, the crowds in the stands went wild. We were the kings and the queens, and they read off our names. You held your head like a hero on a history book page. It was the end of a decade, but the start of an age. Long live all the magic we made and bring on all the pretenders. One day we will be remembered. 'Cause for a moment, a band of thieves in ripped up jeans got to rule the world. Long live all the mountains we moved. I had the time of my life fighting dragons with you. May these memories break our fall. Will you take a moment? Promise me this, that you'll stand by me forever. But if, God forbid, fate should step in and force us into a goodbye, if you have children someday, when they point to the pictures, please tell them my name. So basically what I'm picturing while I read these lyrics is Kingdom of Ash. Without spoiling it, basically like the last chapters of Kingdom of Ash. I always love in like a long fantasy series where like the heroes of the story have to say goodbye, whether that be permanently or not. And this just reminds me of like after everything they've been through. Yes, they've been pretenders, they've been thieves, they've been assassins, and as also like it was the end of a decade but the start of an age. Like the enemy, like the evil king, I believe he ruled for about a decade, and now it's their age starting. So I really love this series. Basically in the first book you follow Selena Sardathian, who is an assassin, and she starts off at this slave camp, and then the prince of the kingdom plus his captain of the guard take her out of prison and tell her that they want her to compete to become the king's champion, and if she wins then she can get out of prison and work for the king. And that is what the series starts off with, but what this series turned into is so much more than that, and it's such an extensive big series. So yeah, honestly, I think I'm gonna leave it here because last time was 40 minutes long and like the raw footage was even more than that, and I still need to film another video. If you like these videos, because like I said, I really love filming them, let me know and I will be sure to do it again in the future. Similar to the first time I did it, obviously, because Spotify Wrapped only happens once a year. So maybe I'll do like the Spotify Wrapped version definitely next year as well. But let me know all of your thoughts. Also, let me know if you have Spotify or any other streaming service, what was your most listened to song this year? I would really love to know. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know by leaving a like if you did. And thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.